What up, team? Welcome to Captain Kirk's Movie Q. I'm Captain Kirk, and this is Bad Words. This movie, directed by and starring Jason Bateman, is an absolute gem of a forgotten classic. So this was Jason's first attempt at a full-length feature. However, he's no novice to the screen, having previously directed some episodes of Arrested Development along with some other shows. So, Mr. Bateman, see what you got. I feel like after seeing this, and knowing that he directed this one, I would have honestly thought that he had had his hand in some of the other projects he had acted in. Bad Words is very Jason Bateman, which is probably a nod to Jason Bateman and his ability to control the type of work that he takes and staying true to himself. Either that or he was typecast early on in his career and he can never play a different type of character. Because if you've seen a Jason Bateman movie, you know who this character is. Released on September 6, 2013 to Canadian audiences, Bad Words was a limited US release in March of 2014 and again to DVD in that same year. With a budget of only $10 million, I assume there wasn't much of an expectation for this film. Not that many people heard about it, and I only faintly remember seeing a couple of trailers maybe here and there. But even still, it fell short at only $7.8 million in the box office. So needless to say, it was not that popular. But I'm here to tell you, it was actually hilarious and well worth the watch. My wife and I both really enjoyed this one. Jason Bateman plays Guy Tripley, perturbed genius with a complex. We open a guy at a local spelling bee. Confronted, he pleads his case to show them that he is not in violation of any rules and he can in fact compete. After a quick spat, he is allowed to compete and wins. This is also when we meet co-star and love interest, Jenny. I was going to try to say her last name, but after a few tries I gave up. She's also the reporter who's writing a story about Guy for her news blog, paid by Catherine Hahn. Editor's note, I really struggled with this sentence for some reason, and I am sorry. So after the win, we're now making our way to the National Quinn Spelling Bee, and for the first time this year, broadcast on national television. This competition hosted for middle school children. I honestly did not know half of these words, not even close. And on the plane, we meet... I could not say this kid's name if you put $1 million in front of me. I'm sorry, I just can't. So here's him saying it for you.
Hi, I'm Chaitanya Chopra.
But from now on in this video, he'll be known as Slumdog, because that's what Guy calls him through the entirety of the movie, and that's how he shall be known. At first, Guy can't stand Slumdog. He wants nothing to do with him. This guy is just focused on his mission and his goal, and that's all he wants anything to do with. He wants nothing to do with his kids or the competition. He just wants to accomplish his goal, make his, I don't even really know if he wants to make any money from this. He just wants to do what he's there to do and be done and get out of there. But Guy and Slumdog, they actually start to spend some time together and they bond. The head of the competition talks to the hotel owner where all of the contestants are staying, and she puts him up in literally the broom closet, and so he has nothing. He doesn't have a bathroom, he doesn't have food or a minibar or anything like that. He barely has a room number. Slumdog invites Guy into his room to come and study together, so they start to kind of bond a little bit. Guy has a Malibu on ice, and then they head out on the town. Just a quick side note that I noticed while watching this movie, it has this filter over the screen where it gives it this kind of antique finish that kind of looks like a newspaper almost. I'm not sure if this is something they intended, but I'm gonna roll with it because I like it, and it kind of reflects the melancholy temper that Guy has throughout most of the film. If it was intended, that was genius. If not, I don't care, but I digress. So in this time that they spend together, they go out on these adventures. They go out to a restaurant. I don't know why this is as okay as it is. I feel like at some point there would have been someone to question this and be like, what are you doing with this small child? Because he takes Slumdog around town, shows him his first pair of boobies, gives him ice cream and some food, and they go their separate ways for the night. But the movie gives us a clip of Slumdog going into his room and his dad is there. Is it foreshadowing? I don't know. We'll find out later. So they complete the first round of the tournament. Jason plays some shady stuff to get a couple of characters knocked out of the competition.
I'm Guy.
I'm not supposed to talk to you.
Can you give these to your mother? She left those in my room last night, and she was very sweet. I want you to know that. She held me afterwards, and she's a nice woman.
And they go about their separate ways. Not much is made of it other than that. We head into the second round of the tournament where the head lady, Dr. Deegan, played by Allison Janney, probably Janney, who she's a really good actress. She's played in a ton of different things. She played the mom in I, Tonya and a couple of different things like that. That was just the most recognizable thing I've known her from. Very good actress. She does a great job in this film. She tries to fix the competition and gives Guy some of the hardest words you've ever imagined in your life, even harder than the 6th grade words that I already didn't know to begin with. And yet, through all of that, it doesn't work, and he gets every single one right. Then, almost out of nowhere, this movie takes a very dark turn. For some reason, everyone's just angry now. The reporter lady's mad at Guy. Guy is mad at other people at the hotel. The parents are also mad at the head, Dr. Deegan. Everyone's just angry at this point in the movie for some reason, seemingly out of nowhere. But we find, and it turns out, that Slumdog's dad was in on their friendship the whole time and had kind of coached Slumdog and told him that you should be friends with this guy so you can get in his head, mess with him, and then you can win the competition. So Slumdog, it turns out, was really only pretending to be Guy's Fieri.
This is what it's like when the big weenie starts to have a meltdown. Represent, brother.
I don't know what that just was. Not only that, but the reporter lady figured out who his real dad actually is, because up until this point, he's been kind of like this orphan character.
You're not my dad!
And it turns out that's the whole reason that Guy was here to begin with. He had this revenge plot against his father, who turns out to be the chairman of the Quill National Spelling Bee. So everyone's angry. They go their separate ways. We call it a night. Guy's all by himself. There is this dramatic scene of him spiting Slumdog. It's really sad, honestly. Kind of heartbreaking, you know? Guy started to finally put some stuff together and be a normal person, and then all of a sudden it's all ripped out from underneath him, you know? He was just out there trying to be. Now, it's the start of the next day. We go into the final round. There's only 10 contestants left. Now, one by one, the losers start to fall. There's a pretty funny scene where one of the parents gets kicked out as she becomes increasingly frustrated, especially after her kid is eliminated. And then now, when you know it, we're down to the final two, Slumdog and Guy. Very fitting. So, through all of this, there's an uproar, there's all kinds of chaos, there's fighting, there's drama, and it seems like Guy's plan has been completed, and he got the revenge that he was seeking. So now at this point, Guy tries to throw the competition to give it to Slumdog. I guess he finds it in his heart and decides that he wants to give the competition to Slumdog. So he goes up there, and for the first time in this entire movie, he gets his word wrong. On purpose, of course, but he gets the word wrong. But Slumdog isn't having it. He says, I'm not going to win this way. This is a real competition. I'm going to beat you fair and square if I beat you. He gets his word wrong too. They go back and forth for a little bit, getting their words wrong. They have a stop and they debate and they decide, no, someone just has to win this competition. Slumdog hits Guy with a nasty nut shot.
Got it?
And Guy's dad gets hit with a chair. For some reason, after all of this, they let the competition continue. There just has to be a winner. Now, after a bit, Guy ends up tricking Slumdog by trying to help him cheat by spelling the word wrong to him. But then Slumdog corrects him, and it's a whole bunch of spelling rules that I don't really understand, but, you know, I would recommend you watch the movie. It's worth it, so you'll find out for yourself. And then, there you have it. Slumdog wins. Declares his friendship with Guy. Guy writes a note to his dad as he goes about his business now that the competition's over, in what has to be one of the most awkward exchanges I've ever seen. Guy tries to give this letter to his dad at the hotel, and Guy's dad basically rips it up, throws it in the water. But it's not without a happy ending. Guy doesn't care. He's not fazed by it. He leaves with the reporter lady, and they go about their lives. He buys his own car, And in the final scene, we see that Guy and Slumdog became the best of friends. Guy is in what looks to be a cop car, an old cop car, and he puts a light on top of it. I couldn't find a clip of this, and I really wish that I could because I've never been to prison, but I'm pretty sure you can't just own a black and white Crown Victoria with a light on top of it and that not be a felony. I accidentally stopped the recording, and thank the Lord I was recording previously. I thought I just lost all of that footage. So, in conclusion, overall, I thought it was a really fun movie. Thought it was well done. I love Jason Bateman. I like him as an actor. I think he's hilarious in this movie. It was really funny. It was kind of heartfelt, and the progression of the characters was really nice. Ultimately, especially for the time that it came out, kind of towards the end in later 2013, early 2014, kind of towards the end of the peak of the comedy era, I would call it. Because honestly, let's be real here, comedy kind of died off in 2015, 2016. There were some good movies that have come out since then, but that late 2000s to early 2010s was the peak of comedy, and this movie kind of fell and got lost in the sea at the end of that era. So with that, we add another movie to the top 10, following up from Rush Hour. I can't put it ahead of Rush Hour. Overall, Rush Hour was a much better film, better produced, better budget, better reception, more nostalgic. This movie comes in at a perfect number 2. And that was Bad Words. Until next time, peace.